Hello and welcome for a webinar on parotid region and parotid gland. The students requested me to take revision on salivary glands, mostly the parotid gland and the submandibular gland. My dear students, there are three pairs of major salivary glands. I am calling major because there are numerous minor salivary glands also. So out of these three major salivary glands, they are in pairs, right and left side. So one is parotid gland, other is submandibular gland, and the third is sublingual gland. Mostly questions are asked on parotid gland and submandibular gland. So let us study today parotid gland, and before starting the study of parotid gland, we should know the anatomy of parotid region. Okay, the parotid region is the region that is located in the posterior lateral part of the neck face region, which is bounded by zygomatic arch superiorly. Okay, an external ear and anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid posteriorly, ramus of the mandible medially, okay, and anterior border of the masseter muscle anteriorly, and inferior angle and inferior border of the mandible inferiorly. So it becomes a parotid region, and the skin covers it laterally. The parotid region includes the parotid gland, parotid duct, which is also called as Stenson's duct, facial nerve, the retromandibular vein, and the external carotid artery, plus the masseter muscle. Masseter muscle is one of the muscles of mastication. So these many structures come in the parotid region. So most important structure in the parotid region is parotid gland. Here is your circle showing the parotid region. You can see the circle here. This full circle is a parotid region. So in this parotid region, you can see the parotid gland, parotid salivary gland. You can see the masseter muscle. You can see the end part of the facial nerve, which gets immediately divided into various branches. You can see the retromandibular vein. You can see the what you call external jugular vein part of it, okay, and other structures which are present in the parotid region. Here in this case, the parotid gland is quite highlighted one. Here you can see the enlarged part of the parotid region showing you the most of the superficial part of the parotid gland, and you can see the facial nerve trunk. You can see the parotid gland duct, which is called as Stenson's duct, and adjoining areas of parotid gland. Now, what is parotid gland? The parotid gland is the largest of the three paired salivary glands. So there are three major salivary glands pairs. Out of these three, the largest is parotid. It is composed mostly of the serous acini. So it is also called as serous gland because other one is mucus gland, sublingual, whereas submandibular is a mixed type of gland. Although the facial nerve, that is seventh cranial nerve, is embedded in the mass of this gland, parotid gland, the branches extending from the gland to innervate the muscles of facial expression and divides the gland into superficial and deep lobe. So this parotid gland has got superficial lobe and deep lobe, which is divided by the first facial nerve. We can see in this image. The parotid gland is enclosed within a tough, unyielding facial capsule, which is called as parotid sheath, okay, which is derived from the investing layer of the deep cervical fascia, which we saw during the study of triangles of the neck. The parotid gland has an irregular shape because the area occupied by the gland is the parotid bed, which is anterior-inferior to the external acoustic meatus. Okay, external acoustic meatus is a hole, canal, you can say, where it is wedged between the ramus of the mandible and the mastoid process. The apex of the parotid gland is posterior to the angle of the mandible, and base is related to the zygomatic arch. So base is above and apex is below. That is why it is called as parotid, because parotid means para means around, around. So otid comes from the ear, otid. So around the ear, it is around the ear. So it is called as parotid. You can explain it in terms of its word meaning. Here in this picture, you can see the numerous parotid glands shown in pictures in different views. And the parotid duct passes horizontally from the anterior edge of the parotid gland at the anterior border of the masseter muscle, and the duct turns medially, pierces the buccal pad of the fat on the cheek. So buccinator muscle is also pierced. Okay, and buccal fascia and buccal mucosa, and enters the oral cavity through the orifice, we can say hole, and it ends opposite to the second upper molar tooth or second maxillary molar tooth. Maxillary means upper, mandibular means lower. So second molar tooth is okay from inside. You can see the opening of this Stenson's duct. Parotid duct is also called as Stenson's duct. Here you can see it is coming from anterior border of the parotid gland and overlying the masseter muscle, entering and piercing the buccinator and opening to opposite to second upper molar teeth. And from there, the saliva falls down in the mouth. Okay, like a shower. The oblique patches of the duct in the buccinator muscle acts as a wall-like mechanism. So it is oblique, so it gets compressed and prevents the inflation of the duct during blowing. So when you blow, like whistling, it prevents the inflation. About a finger's breadth below the zygomatic arch, you can say finger's breadth like this. It's accompanied by the transverse facial vessel above and okay, above and buccal branch of the facial nerve below. Okay, so zygomatic arch, the duct is accompanied by the transverse facial vessels, means artery and vein above and buccal branch of facial nerve below. The duct is represented by middle 1/3 of a line extending from the tragus of the auricle. So this external pinna has got a tragus here. From here you can say tragus of the auricle to the point midway between the ala of the nose and the upper lip. Okay, embedded within the substance of the parotid gland from superficial to deep are the facial nerve, that is seventh cranial nerve and its branches, and the retromandibular vein and external carotid artery, and on the parotid sheath and within the gland are the parotid lymph nodes. So parotid lymph nodes which are present in the parotid region, those we have counted here. Here you can see the parotid gland and you can see the vessels here, okay, and you can see the nerve here. At least one diagram we should know, okay. You can see the parotid duct crossing the masseter muscle. Now, innervation of parotid gland and related structures. So, what is the nerve supply of parotid gland? Although the cranial nerve 7th is embedded within the gland, the 7th cranial nerve does not provide innervation to the gland. Means, though the gland is fully pierced and embedded within the gland, parotid gland is not supplied by the facial nerve, because facial nerve is motor nerve, and for gland we require secretomotor nerve which has to be autonomic. So what you call sympathetic and parasympathetic. A branch of retromandibular branch of trigeminal nerve, what you call the branch of fifth cranial nerve. Fifth cranial nerve is a trigeminal nerve, and it has got 3 branches. The biggest branch is the mandibular branch. Is closely related to the postparotid gland and passes superior to it with the superficial temporal vessels. Okay. The auriculotemporal nerve and the greater auricular nerve, a branch of the cervical plexus composed of fibers from C2 to C3 spinal nerve, innervate the parotid sheath as well as the overlying skin. The parasympathetic component of the glossopharyngeal nerve. So ninth cranial nerve is a parasympathetic nerve that we know, okay. It supplies the presynaptic secretory fibers to the otic ganglion, and the post-synaptic parasympathetic fibers are conveyed from the ganglion to this auriculotemporal nerve. Parasympathetic secretomotor supply arises from the glossopharyngeal nerve, and the nerve reaches the gland via the tympanic branch, the lesser petrosal nerve, the optic ganglion, and the auriculotemporal nerve. Here in this diagram, you can see the innervation of the parotid gland, that is nerve supply to parotid gland. Here you can see the auriculotemporal nerve coming through the mandibular component of trigeminal nerve from glossopharyngeal nerve via tympanic plexus, lesser petrosal nerve, and here it is supplying to it. Stimulation of the parasympathetic fibers produces a thin watery saliva. Sympathetic fibers are derived from the cervical ganglia through the external carotid nerve plexus on the external carotid artery. There you can see that from the parasympathetic plexus around the external carotid artery. So that means it is a gland, and gland needs autonomic nervous supply, sympathetic and parasympathetic. So how the sympathetic nerve supply comes, that I showed in previous slide, comes from the ninth cranial nerve, and sympathetic fibers come from the cervical ganglia. At least this much you should know, okay. The gland is an irregular lobulated mass. It is irregular and sends processes, because you can see these projections are called as processes in various directions, and those include glenoid process that extends upward behind the temporomandibular joint in front of external auditory meatus, and facial process that extends anteriorly onto the masseter muscle. You can see this facial process, you can see this glenoid process. Okay, another process you can see extending down. Okay, it's called a carotid process. Okay, here you can see facial process, glenoid process. Even there is accessory process. You can see the pterygoid process. You can see the carotid process. Processes means projections coming from the gland, and that is why it is irregular in shape. Accessory part or small extra part, small part of the facial process lying along the parotid duct. You can see here accessory parts process. Pterygoid process that extends forward from the deeper part of the gland, the medial pterygoid muscle and the ramus of the mandible. Here you can see the pterygoid process. And carotid process that lies posterior to the external carotid artery, it is here. So this is about processes of this gland. A portion of fascia extending from the styloid process to the angle of the mandible is called as stylomandibular ligament, and it separates the parotid gland from the submandibular gland, because immediately below that there is a submandibular gland. So it is extending downwards, and that is why we see that. What is the arterial supply of this parotid gland? External carotid artery and its terminal branches. So you know the external carotid artery gives 9 branches. Okay. Venous drainage is into the retromandibular nerve, and retromandibular nerve actually forms the external jugular vein. So it is drained into the external jugular vein. And lymphatic drainage is into the parotid lymph nodes, and then into the deep cervical lymph nodes. So you should know the artery supply, venous drainage, lymph drainage, nerve supply. Okay. And now we have to see the what you call anatomy of the parotid duct or Stensen's duct. Before that, we should know about the buccal fat. Buccal fat means below the cheek. This is all fatty area. So buccal fat is one of the several encapsulated masses in the cheek. It is deep fat pad located on either side of the face between the buccinators. जेवढे गाल गुबगुबीत असतात त्याचा अर्थ असा आहे की बक्कल फॅट खूप आहे. बक्कल फॅट नसेल तर हे सगळं असं आत जातं आणि मग ते चांगलं दिसत नाही. मग ते खात पीत जा की रे असं म्हणतात लोक. सो दॅट ती तयारी जी दिसते ती बक्कल फॅटची असते. ओके. That gives a good look to the face also. The inferior portion of the buccal fat pad is contained within the buccal space. Okay. The blood supply to the buccal fat originates from the buccal and deep temporal branches of the maxillary nerve. Now, maxillary nerve is a branch of external carotid artery, and from the transverse facial branch of the superficial temporal nerve. Superficial temporal nerve is also branch of external carotid artery, and branches of the facial artery. So, facial artery is also branch of external carotid artery. That means you should know the anatomy of external carotid artery very well, because there is always question asked. Most of the time I have seen that there is a question on ECA. ECA means external carotid artery. So you can see the different branches here. The rich vascularity allows a reliable long axial flap and explains the rapid surface re-epithelialization. For that purpose it is required. And with this, my dear friend, I have ended the study of parotid gland in short. Apart from this, you should know the shape of that gland, weight of that gland, borders of that gland, surfaces of that gland. Because for anatomy, these all things are mandatory, and here you have to do it by heart. पाठांतर केलं पाहिजे अशा गोष्टी. किती ग्रॅमची ग्लँड आहे? Can anybody answer me? How much is the weight of this gland? Yes. Yes.
20.
Sir, 25 gram.
25
grams.
Correct. How many are the borders of this gland? So let us understand the dimension.
3 borders.
3
Okay.
borders.
Correct.
3 borders.
How many are surfaces to this gland?
4 surfaces.
Four surface.
4 surface.
What are the surfaces of the? What are the names of the surfaces of this gland?
Anteromedial,
superior,
posteromedial, superficial,
surface, anteromedial,
superior surface.
and
Correct. And okay, what is the type of this gland? What type of gland is this? What type of saliva is secreted?
Salivary gland.
Serous gland. You should
serous
say
gland.
it is a predominantly serous gland. That means mucus acini are very less as compared to the sublingual and also submandibular gland. What is the nerve supply of this gland?
Retromandibular vein.
Nerve supply मध्ये vein कशी येईल?
Sorry. आपलं
Sympathetic and
Glossopharyngeal vein.
Parasympathetic.
Sympathetic
Glossopharyngeal nerve.
and parasympathetic nerve. Sympathetic nerve supply comes from cervical plexus, and parasympathetic nerve supply comes from ninth cranial nerve. So
Ninth cranial nerve.
this is very important. Other branches, if you don't remember, at least big branches you should remember. What is blood supply of this gland? Fast.
Branches of external carotid artery.
Branches of external carotid artery, and those branches which are near to it.
Maxillary artery.
Maxillary artery,
Maxillary artery.
and superficial temporal artery. These are the 3 major arteries. What is venous drainage of this gland?
Retromandibular vein.
Retromandibular vein.
Retromandibular vein is
Jugular
the
vein.
main vein which drains into the external jugular vein. And what is the lymphatic drainage?
Parotid lymph nodes as well as
Parotid and deep cervical lymph
Parotid lymph nodes which drain into the deep cervical lymph.
cervical.
If you write this much and if you take 1 or 2 diagrams, you will get out marks, because this question is in the face part of the head, and for that this question is asked as a long question, and it is for the 10 marks, not for the 20 marks. So 20 marks this question is asked on the neck, that you know. So what we will do the next time before your exam, you will take another seminar, the important seminar, and that is a general seminar, and it is called as 100% success in anatomy. So you tell me the appropriate day when you want to have knowledge about writing or presentation during the examination in order to score passing marks easily, and plus if you want to score more than 300 marks out of 400 in exam, that seminar we will take 1 day. And tomorrow there is a holiday, so there is no seminar. On Saturday we will take remaining 2 glands. And with this, my dear friend, let me end this today's seminar webinar on parotid gland, which is an important gland. and we'll come back again on Saturday for the study of remaining two glands, that is submandibular gland and sublingual gland. Till then, see you, bye, and have a nice day. Thank you.